All right, guys, we're back again with another great episode of PFREI, a passion for real estate investments. I'm your host, Fuquan. Today we have a special guest. I'm pretty excited about this interview. Loral, correct me, Langemeier. Langemeier.
Yep.
Loral Langemeier. I should know that. We actually traveled in circles a few times at a couple of events. And we'll talk about your last name in a minute, because that's a peculiar last name. We'll talk about the meaning of that and all that. I'm very interested in finding it out. But she's a world-renowned money expert, sought after speaker, entrepreneurial thought leader, a 5-time New York Times best-selling author who is on a relentless mission to change the conversation about money and empower people around the world to become millionaires. The CEO and founder of Integrated Wealth Systems, a global organization, Loral shares her experience without hesitation or apology. What sets her apart from other wealth experts is her innate ability to hone in on the skills and talents of other everyday people to inspire them to generate wealth. She has created and perfected 3 to 5 year strategy to make millions for the average Jill and Joe. Interested in hearing about that also. So to date, the company has created thousands of millionaires through her mastermind group, wealth building seminars, live workshops, and mentoring programs with a wide array of products. So Loral, she has a straight talk, electrifies audience, and inspires powerful action and live stage television programs. I've seen her on CNN, CNBC, I caught the Fox News, I caught all of that. So we'll talk about that during this interview process, and hopefully I didn't screw up your bio, but
Good.
So I've seen you actually live in action and speak, and what an inspiration. I actually was a part of Teresa Martin's New York association and heard you speak there to the women, and also NIS, the Note Investment Summit. I had the opportunity, I think that was 2 years ago, where we both were speakers and I had the opportunity to see you speak, and it is an electrifying moment. So I want to talk about a little bit your journey, and we'll start with the last name.
All right.
We'll start with that.
So it's actually Langemeier.
Langemeier, Loral Langemeier.
It's like to Langemeier. The
Yes.
E silent, and it's German.
Yes.
And we have like a little rhyme in our family because learning to spell it with all the E's is interesting. And for the hackers of the world, I've had an extraordinary time of people. Last year I had 11 misspellings of my name, 11 Loral Langemeier, and all these like Facebook hackers. Was the craziest time. I mean, we had to get the SEC involved, and
oh wow,
because we had all these impersonators. Because I think when you have a confusing name, I mean, yours is a little bit different too. You could spell it a little bit different, but whenever you kind of spell it. It's kind of a new lesson I tell a lot of our folks, and I'm not the only one. There's so much, what's going on with this whole COVID thing too, Fuquan, is there's so much scamming going on.
Yes, a prime opportunity.
Yeah, and they just and people that haven't been on the internet a lot. From selling real estate that don't have lots. I mean, hey, XYZ's for sale. Somebody doesn't know. They call. They don't know how to do due diligence, and it's been interesting to be kind of. I'm always on all sides of the conversation, but this is another one, which is protect your identity in your life.
That's awesome. You actually, when I see you speak, you inspire a lot of people. How do you stay energized? You travel a lot. I know this has been a shift for you also with all the traveling that you do and speaking. You look well rested. Not that you haven't looked well rested before, but you just have an extra glow today. So I know because you knew you was going to be featured on this podcast, but I don't know. But let's jump into it. The podcast really talks about the importance of having real estate as the asset class to invest in. So let's talk about that a little bit. Why are you passionate for real estate investments to be one of those pieces that someone needs to know about, for financial freedom?
Yeah. Well, I'm known as the Millionaire Maker. So 2006, I was contracted to write 3-book series, one on how to be a millionaire, another one on how to build a 7-figure business, and then wealth cycle investing, which is how to get educated off Wall Street. So my millionaire status was in real estate. 1999, I was a real estate and gas and oil millionaire because in the mid 90s, 96, I participated in my first drilling well. And real estate, I believe and have taught forever, has got to be one of the undercurrents of, wealth in everyone's portfolio. And I have had thousands of transactions. My first big run in real estate, I learned to raise capital, and that was 1998, 99. And my millionaire market is Oklahoma. So we bought a lot of 100+ door apartment complexes and did it big. Then we started buying streets and doing duplexes and fourplexes. So we'd buy in volume so we could volume the contracts for all the rehabs. And then that grew into me teaching a lot of people. I mean, I've been in the Jersey market, Connecticut market, you name it, from Tennessee, North Carolina, Arkansas, Louisiana. We were doing subject to, we were doing lease option, we were doing fix and flip. So I was at one point in 29 markets at one time, and thank God, got out in 2006 and 7 right before the crash. And so I made a run, got out, and then during the crash, I started buying and selling companies. So just like you buy, a crappy little property and fix it up and sell it, there's a lot of crappy little businesses that need some help. And today, the real estate market's still strong, in my opinion. I know everybody thinks there's going to be this massive crash. I think it depends on the market, how hard you'll get hit and how your strategy is. But the real opportunity is the real estate right around you that houses all these businesses. A lot of businesses, aren't coming back from COVID. They're not, they shouldn't, they aren't going to make it. And it's not worth the break even or cash flow run. So, I'm talking to a lot of real estate investors, from buying residential assisted living to tiny homes is a new trend that's coming in really strong. We're developing a lot right now in opportunity zones. So real estate's always a huge core conversation for me. I love it.
Yeah. So talking about the current situation we in, I mean, I don't like to keep harping on it. It's like, for me, it's over with and I'm on to the next. But because you're speaking to so many people and educating so many people and trying to get them in the millionaire mindset to bring that to fruition, what are some of the techniques and strategies that you are teaching? If you can give us a little bit of the shift that, like I said, there had to be a shift because the current situation caused a lot of different things. What are you doing as far as that? I know the mindset is important first, right? People have to believe in it. So what are some of the techniques and strategies you're using to keep people in the right frame of mind to still have those goals in place?
Well, and one of the things I teach a lot is money rules. And so I can give everybody that's watching my third book called the Millionaire Maker's Guide to Wealth Cycle Investing. I have chapters of money rules and risk analysis and due diligence. And I'm teaching a lot of that. A lot of folks, there's two sides of this, I'd say in life. COVID's just accelerated it, which is how are you making your money? And there are people who are making their money as a business in real estate. But I predominantly have more people who have money, self-directed IRAs, just, cash that they want to put to work in projects. So I start usually with, what are your money rules? And one thing too, Fuquan, that a lot of people don't think about enough is whether you want to be active or passive. Because, consistently, and you hear it like I hear, I want to be in real estate. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean you want to be the investor and be passive? Do you want to be an equity investor, which means you're going to own part of the property, take the cash flow, or do you just want to be a note holder in a first lien position? Like you said, we met at a note conference. I love notes, right? That I don't have to deal with the tenant. I just deal with the property. I'm the bank, get paid interest on those. So I have a lot of more passive folks that once they understand their strategies and choices, they really choose more passively. I think if I looked at all of the clients that I get throughout the year, there's very few that say, let's go, I'm going to build a business and be in the activity of not only finding the property, finding the crews, finding, I have a lot of clients that are doing development where I think we got to do the platting, the permitting, all of that. I mean, when you really, and I think what we do very, very candidly is I'm going to say, teach the truth. I mean, I say, roll up your sleeves and tell them everything about it. Because then typically folks who don't know if they want to be active or passive tend to pick more of a passive route. Because, it's just, I think there's such a misunderstanding of just jump into real estate. Like, to what degree? And so we usually start there. Like, how do you want to be in this portfolio? Passive as an investor, active as a business. And then what are your money rules around it? Do you want cash called? Do you want to do tenant turns? So we just really talk a lot. We do like, we're in a conversation a lot is our way of teaching. So people can really understand what are they getting into. I think there's too many real estate courses that they teach one way, wholesaling. I totally disagree that wholesaling is the first and easy way to get in. That's not how I think being a passive investor is how you get in.
Yeah.
Your way.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I think that you mentioned a couple of things. Just go back to it because I experienced the same thing. Even, because I've been doing it for 20 years. I started my note journey in 2011, and I would actually go out to teach and educate people who wanted to learn about notes. And when I finished the seminar, they was like, "Oh my God, it's so much work, so many moving parts. I just want to ride your coattail." And I think that a lot of people believe that if they are actively involved, that it's more profitable. Right?
Yeah.
And they're trading time for dollars. And the passive part allows them to, not be in the business and trade time for dollars. So that's a good point that you brought up. I think the biggest thing, people want to be more involved because they think they're going to get a piece of the pie or split profits. And there's still ways you can actually be passive and structure the deals where you have, some more equity participation. You just have to be a little bit more strategic in how you're being passive. So yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Talk about the shift a little bit, because I know you are market cycle tested. You went through the last downturn. You had made a pivot before, so you were one of the ones that escaped, unlike myself. I was dragged in and badly beaten up and had to start all over again. And it took me, 5 more years to kind of pivot back from that, to kind of grow from that. But when you, I guess, dodged a bullet and you started buying businesses, how did that transition go for you? And then there was plenty of opportunities, like in 2009 and 2010. Did you kind of go back in and grab those opportunities with your passive partners and dominate the market again?
Yeah, and I did a couple of things in 2008-9. Is Australia was booming, and they've never really had a woman speaker, and it was just time. So I actively during 8, 9, 10, 11, and then kind of faded, kind of slowly back out in 12, but still very, very active in the Australian market, Canadian market. Actually married a Canadian. So I did that plus buy companies. And so when I bought the company, it would be the company and or the real estate beneath it. And there is still some of the real estate that our family holds that house great businesses. But the business stuff for me is fun. I mean, I love teaching people to be millionaires. And right now, like I know there's a client of mine out of Texas is picking up a Ford dealership for $497,000 because it needs capital. And, a huge message I'm telling people right now is have conversations, walk into the auto body shop, the restaurant. If you want to pick up or partner, kind of Shark Tank, I call it, into a company, there's a lot of companies, but you got to be very forthright and just say, how are you doing? How are you financially doing? Get to the agenda. I'm looking to be a partner. I have capital to invest, and you can pick up a whole variety of a portfolio right in your local neighborhoods. So that has been, because of my experience at 8, 9, 10, I just really know how to coach people into finding really sweet deals right now. As far as jumping back in 9, 10, I can give your listeners a whole bunch of stuff. So I have this book I'm giving right now.
Awesome.
I'll put more cash in your pocket. It's just, I call it the COVID Bible, right? I mean, it tells you every little thing, how to stop the bleeding, increase your cash flow. I'm doing a workshop on how to, build immediate, cash in a marketplace. But in 9 to 10, yes, we got a lot of good stuff. And, I have a saying in real estate where you live where you want, invest where it makes sense. So in 9 and 10, I went back into some markets with some other partners into Ohio markets, Northern Kentucky, right on the Covington River. That whole riverfront was really old warehouses and broke down. So we did, some really great rehabs and recentering by buying them, fixing them up, and making them more what I call millennial proof, where we put them into very high tech 1-1s and right next to bourbon bars and wine bars and coffee shops, which is how a lot of millennials want to live, and they were not buying. So did a nice run through that market as well as a few other markets. And that whole Midwestern market, there's never massive appreciations, but there are rent swings depending on unemployment. Like right now, the rental market's going to be sweet for those that get, really ready to do it, and listen to the market.
Yeah.
That you got to listen to the market. And I don't think a lot of people know how to do that.
Yeah, people are looking to adjust to the market and kind of try to figure it out as they go along instead of just really understanding the market there. And so you have this 3 to 5 year strategy to make millions for the average Jill and Joe. Let's talk about that, because that's pretty bodacious. As somebody can, connect with you and then put together a strategy within 3 to 5 years. So what does that consist of? Like, I'm excited to hear about that. Like, people that went through that program, I know if they follow your processes and systems you have in place and stay dedicated. I mean, it's one thing to teach somebody how to do it and then the other person actually willing to go through it and execute. So Let's talk about that 3 to 5 year strategy and what that consists of.
Well, and that's the challenge, is most people are the biggest challenge kind of walking into wanting to become a millionaire. And I have a cool Facebook group called Millionaires in Training, and that's where it all starts. And I put a matrix together. There's kind of 4 components to becoming a millionaire. And I've been not only studying wealthy families and how to be millionaires, but I always say, what I teach is very classical. I mean, how you become a millionaire is always how you become a millionaire forever. I mean, it's not been any newfangled system. You have to make money. And unfortunately, most people are taught how to make money is with a job. So, what I'm teaching is it's fine if you have a job, but you have to become an entrepreneur. You've got to make more money. And ideally, if you have a job, a lot of the folks that have jobs, I have a lot of military folks, tons of military clients. Keep your job, and all the extra money, whether it's real estate or you're in the market, or if you're in cryptocurrencies or hemp farms or whatever your alternative asset classes are, put that money to work, right? So it's making money in a variety of ways. Keeping it through corporate structure, which I think that's completely undertaught, of how corporations allow deductions and protection, how trusts work. So we have a whole body of teaching and experts with that, and then how to invest it. And the biggest challenge in that 3 to 5 year process for 90% of the people is they'll make it and spend it, or make it and pay off debt, versus make it and invest it. All right. So when you think about the pattern of money, you make it, you keep it, you invest it, you use a team very properly. So make it, keep it, invest it. So I have this matrix, and I teach each of those, categories, in depending on where people are. But the make it and invest it is where most people break the link, or they don't even have one. They just make it, spend it. Like right now, let's think about all the stimulus money that just went out. You think how many people put that money into a wealth account to go buy some assets? They didn't. They fixed up their car. They did some landscaping. They, went on a little holiday because all their kids are out of school. They didn't put that money to work. And the biggest challenge and pattern to break of 99% of my students is when you make it, put it away. Buy assets, not a lifestyle. You can have a lifestyle later. And that pattern right there, if all people did was listen to that one point and do it better and more of it, they would get wealthier faster.
That's awesome.
That compounding power of money has to start. I'm coming out with a book in July. My co-author is an Air Force fighter pilot, Lieutenant Colonel. We both made millionaire kids. So we're writing about how do you parent this? Because who knows where school's going to end up? Most, all of our kids are being homeschooled right now, call it whatever it is, but no one's teaching money. And if parents, what I love about teaching kids is then they're like that little voice saying, listen to Fuquan, listen to Loral. That's not what you're supposed to do. So it's almost you built in an accountability structure to these kids who watch their parents have bad behavior. So I love getting the kids involved, because they are more compliant and they do want to learn, and they don't want to go through the hell and the struggles that they've watched their family have to do.
I think that's great, creating an alternative platform through reading for kids and everything else, because that will break the cycle of, get a good education, get a job, go work for somebody, when they can actually be their own boss. You mentioned a few things, which was important. It reminds me of a statement: a part of all I earn is mine to keep. People just get this money and they spend instead of reinvesting. What are some of the target returns you're looking for your investors passively? Is it a range of 6 to 10%, which they should target to kind of, build that compounding effect? Is it a magic number as far as target yield?
I think it's up. It's so different, and I teach a lot of alternative asset classes. Like, I have some Nevada licenses in marijuana. I've done hemp farms. So the way that I work is I do a lot. And then I'll just share with my students, if they're interested, but we'll use a lot of projects. Like you got to imagine we're sent, I'm sure you are too, we're sent so many projects, and then we'll use them as teaching tools. So we do a lot of conversations, the company that really runs all this is still Live Out Loud. I just rebranded Live Out Loud to Integrated Wealth because Live Out Loud has become such a overused. I mean, my God, there's a rapper song called Live Out Loud. There's all sorts of uses of Live Out Loud. So, but Live Out Loud's initial intent, which is still true today, is let's look at a deck and let's evaluate it. Like there's people who are brand new who have no idea. They've never even seen a deck or a PPM. And then there's people who know how to read them. So when we evaluate together openly, like 40, 50 people on a phone call, you can imagine the rich conversation, like why that and why that and what's an IRR and how do you do that? And just as a standard way of teaching, and I don't even know what day I made this up, I just said, let's just shoot for 10%. If you can figure out how to get an average of 10%, which is high, and then you have your fantasy island people say, well, I'm not going to invest for more than 20. I'm thinking, find that all day long. And you're
see if you get any money from that.
Right. Because in the note world, you are exactly like you said, you're in the 6, 8, 10% world. I think there's a lot of hard money and first lien position notes at 10. There's some at 8. I have some folks that I know are paying 12 just because they want to raise the capital very quickly just to get the projects done. And what I like about that as a more passive investment is a lot of times it allows the person to have a 1 or 2 year cash flow on the note. They get out and the true investor, the asset investor gets to refi at really low rates right now, and continues to move on. So on average, just from a teaching point, and it's just easy math, quite frankly, is I just say, let's try to get 10%. And if it's 8, it's 8, right?
Yeah. I told someone the other day, if you can get 10% to God, you get 10% to your investor. They was like, oh. Yeah. It's
an easy number.
Yeah, that's good. So, this is some great information, man. It's, with everything that's going on now and the changes that we're making, what type of, I don't want to say challenges, what type of learning, what are you learning now about your business and about the market that you can share with us to kind of give us an outlook to what's to come and the steps that you're taking to get ahead of the curve, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we saw this coming early. Some of my mentors, and I stay very close to some really world-leading economic advisors. And so in February, it was clear that it was coming. March 6th, 7th was my last, event in Houston where I spoke and flew home. And then I was in the middle of my own event, March 11, 12, 13. And I went from a room of 50, 60 people by the last day because all of this announced. I mean, Trump was on every day, a couple times a day. The stay-home orders were coming into play. I remember ending that day as 18 people at my event. I mean, they were all like, they all went home. They all freaked out. And so very quickly over the weekend, because I have a great team, we pivoted. And I said, you know what, we're just going live every day on a broadcast. So I haven't been known to be like a big online person. As you know, I'm offline all the time. So I said, and our team just said, let's do it every day. So every day at 12 noon, starting that next week in March, every day we started a millionaire training group. So we have a lot of people that are in the Millionaires in Training group. We first started by really giving people exactly what your question was, is what do you do? And I said, there's kind of a 3-step process immediately. You're a little late if you haven't done anything, but number 1, stop the bleeding and extend all levels of cash that you can. And I still believe that's true. Like get as lean as you can and still get lean. I mean, cut every cost that you can. I mean, everything, all those subscriptions you're not using, get really, really, really lean and build cash. So get lines of credit, extend your, cards where you can, reduce. And another thing people aren't asking for, you can reduce your credit card interest down to 1-2%, ask for 0% for 3 months. So for a long time, I was really coaching people on how to get lean and acquire piles of cash so they could get ready to invest. And then that includes your little stimulus check, put that away. We use a software that keeps you out of the market, it shorts you out of the market. So it's a free app I can give folks where I only lost 2.8. I didn't go down 33%. So you don't get the huge rushes and the huge ups and downs, the spikes. but you keep very level. And the minute you have a couple points difference in the market, it takes you out. So folks that are listening, we can either put it in the show notes, or I can share it in a chat with you. I don't know if I can probably chat on here and share you the link. I'll just type it in here really quick.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This is some great information. So you spend that time teaching people how to get lean and liquid and have strong liquidity for whatever is to come, so they can take advantage of that and be able to be in a position to benefit from, you know, this whole situation. Because as you mentioned, there are some people who are not really taking advantage, who's spending the stimulus checks, who's, you know, deferring their mortgages when they really don't have to, and creating this event that might blow up in their face. So, yeah, this is all great information. And now that you pivoted online, I know this is probably something that's been instrumental for you in what you're doing. You're probably saying, hey, now, well, we can reach more people now. That we can, you know, that might, it's always good to press the flesh and meet people, but this is a opportunity for you to go virtual on a platform and reach more people. I recognize that when I used to create meetups and I would fly all around and meet all these people, then I was like, you know what, if I did this online virtual, I can still, the person from California, the person from Chicago can come on the same night to my event and benefit from it. And I started to notice that, wow, like 100 people on a call versus I fly somewhere and there's 25 people in a room. So I know that has made a big change in what you do, right?
Yeah, and so what we did, so every day through March and then the beginning of April, and you know, we just really were teaching, you know, get lean, get cash, and start looking for opportunities. And then as March kind of fell through, you know, got completed, we switched to, you know, just how do you make money? Most people don't know how to make money online. So you have this very crowded space now called the internet, which has been here forever, but most people don't know how to make money. So I re-instigated what we call our marketplace technology, where I teach people how to make money in 48 hours. So it starts on a Wednesday night at 5, goes to Friday night at 5. We have a main Zoom room like this, and then you break into rooms, small rooms with coaches, and we really create a marketplace. My kind of joke is you can pay 33% to Amazon and sell your stuff, or you can come to my marketplace and take all the money home. So we have had hundreds of people. In April, we did our first one. A couple weeks ago in May, we just did another one. June 10, 11, 12th is my next one. And you were right. I'm staying online.
This has been I knew it. It's online. Beautiful, right? It's beautiful. Your comfort, less traveling, less headaches, more, you know, I think it was a blessing actually for a lot of us that this happened, because it kind of forced us to really learn more online tools. And I know that I can reach more people by doing stuff like this. So yeah, this is great. Let's give some people some contact information or a website that you have. I know you got a couple of things going. You know, you guys can go to Amazon and see her books that she has. She probably have like 50 books by now. I only have like 2 or 3. I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, real quick, plug your information so people can reach out to you. I got
5 New York Times bestsellers. And again, the Millionaire Maker is like the key brand. And a lot of people get my game that's up there on the shelf you see behind me. But Put More Cash is very relevant today. And right now, as long as you reduce your spending and increase your cash, the conversations we're having now that we're 90 days into this, COVID experience, is now start looking around. Right now, businesses are going to come back or they're not. It's a perfect opportunity to look around. So I have, if you go to askloral.com is our lead site for right now, ASKLORAL, askloral.com. You'll get a copy of the free book. You'll get that free software, the Flip software I was telling you about. You're going to get a whole bunch of free stuff. Join my Millionaires in Training. It's a Facebook group. You just go to Facebook, look for Millionaires in Training. You'll see my face with the red jacket on. And I have all this education. And inside there, if you're interested in looking for businesses that need money, it's a perfect time. I mean, think about whether it's a hair salon or an auto body shop. If they need 20, 30, 50,000, you can easily in this time negotiate for 10, 20, even 30% of their company by bringing them capital. If you don't know how to do it, that's what I'm a master. I know how to help cut those deals. And it's exciting to watch. Like, this is the transfer of wealth. So when people think transfer of wealth, Fuquan, I think they're thinking, oh, millions are going to be made today. It's going to happen in chunks of 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 over and over and over. And what's cool about this economy, this time, not 8, 9, and 10, but this time, 2021, is you can find real estate deals, private capital deals, private business deals. Crypto's leveled out. Crypto opportunities coming in October, November. I know some ripping, amazing ones that are going to have, they're actually going to have 120x that are coming out. If you know anything about digital currency, private capital, private hemp, so many. What I love about this crash, it's indiscriminate. Anybody can do it. Anybody can make it. You just have to want to learn. So the Millionaires in Training is really how many millionaires can be made and like reset their financial infrastructure during this time, because it's a perfect time. Like 38 million Americans are unemployed. What a perfect time to not have to go back to work. Get out to the street and start looking around. Everything is on sale right now. Now, here's what the last thing I would tell people is you won't know it's on sale because for sale signs outside of real estate don't come up. It's very private. You have to walk into businesses. You've got to meet owners. You've got to have the right script. So in my Millionaires in Training Facebook group, we give you the script to talk to other business owners if you've never done that before, to start seeing if and when opportunities will be available. But it's a cool time right now for those that want to be creative, want to do deals, and want to really understand what the hell's going on out there. It's a mess.
Yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, man, this was great. I really enjoyed this interview today, guys. Loral Langemeier,
Thank you.
Integrated Wealth Systems. Oh man, this is good. I'm excited. I'm ready to go do something.
Go to askloral.com. In my workshop, my 3-day workshop, which is June 10, 11, 12, and then I'm going to go again in July. I'm just going to keep going. I don't know that I have to come back out because I have a lot of tickets that I sold to come out. But I don't think here's what I'm saying. I'll come out when you come out. Buy a plane ticket. show me you have a plane ticket to come to a room here in Reno, Nevada, and I'll be out there. But
or you could just package, or if you pre-sold tickets, you can package something for those people who you bought tickets for and just give them extra bells and whistles, extra access to this and that. And yeah.
Our 3-day workshop's $97, so it's cheap, and you will make money during.
Yeah, I think investing in yourself is very important. A lot of people, they hear people, offering certain things for money, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to pay that." I'm sure it's worth $1,000. And you're just absolutely, and you're just offering them enough just to come in and see what it's about, and then they'll see the real value. We've done that. I just did a course where I spent actually 4 weeks with people, 2 hours twice a week, and I did it for $1,000. And I'm like, okay, now you guys know my time is worth more than that. Obviously, I'm adding value here, and I'm trying to teach you and show you something, and just pretty much you'll be a customer for life because I really added value to you and showed you that it's not about the $1,000. It's more about creating a long business relationship. So that was that. But thank you for coming on today. You guys go check out Integrated Wealth Systems, or check out Ask Loral. Make sure you guys get registered for that June event. Appreciate you coming on. Another great episode of PFREI, A Passion for Real Estate Investments. Catch us on Spotify, Google, Facebook, Instagram, and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Lauren. Appreciate it.
Take care.